Throughout the United States military history, there's been animals working alongside soldiers, the bravest of the brave. In a former story we learn about Sergeant Stubby from World War I, who was the first military dog in American history, the only dog ever be promoted through combat, and the most decorated dog in American history. Then there was Sergeant Seawash, the devil duck who served with the Marines during World War II, who landed with 18,000 Marines on the island of Tarawa, and was treated just like the Marines during the war and earned the name Devil Duck and was awarded a Purple Heart for injuries sustained in combat when she attacked and killed a Japanese rooster. Then we have Sergeant Reckless, who served with the Marines during the Korean War, gaining fame for her acts of bravery and numerous acts of service, where she trained to transport ammunitions, supplies, and even wounded soldiers, making solo trips under fire in combat zones, just like the Battle of Outpost Vegas, where she was wounded twice. She was awarded 2 Purple Hearts and numerous medals, as well as officially promoted to the rank of Staff Sergeant. But what about the tiniest of animals who served? This story I personally thought couldn't be real at first, until I did my own deep dive into the history of this brave little dog. Imagine this. You're knee-deep in the mud of New Guinea, bombs dropping, bullets flying, and the soldier next to you reaches into a foxhole and pulls out a tiny Yorkshire Terrier. No tags, no name, just 2 pounds of fur and pure chaos. That dog would go on to do what no one believed possible: survive the Pacific, outsmart the enemy, and save lives, all while fitting inside a helmet. This is the real story of Smoky the war dog, the 2-pound legend who turned the battlefield into her own playground. The year was 1944. A group of American soldiers was repairing an airstrip in the steaming jungles of New Guinea when they heard faint whimpering. They dug through a foxhole, and there she was, the tiny Yorkshire Terrier. No collar and no clue how she got there. Was she abandoned? Escaped from a Japanese camp? Dropped by air? No one knew. What they did know was that she needed a friend. So, Corporal William A. Wynne, a Cleveland boy who loved cameras and chaos, bought her from another soldier for 2 Australian pounds. And just like that, Smoky the Yorkie became Private Wayne's battle buddy. Now picture this. Lugging a radio pack, sweating under tropical heat, and Smoky trotting behind him with her tongue out, probably thinking, "This is not what I signed up for, Bill." Smoky quickly became the camp's tiny mascot. She learned tricks faster than most recruits learned how to salute. She could walk a tightrope, balance on a helmet, even parachute. Even though it was only 30 feet in the air and in a makeshift silk harness, she absolutely should have earned her jump wings. While others were fighting off malaria, Smoky was doing somersaults for candy bars. When planes came back riddled with bullet holes, soldiers gathered to watch her little comedy shows, because even in hell, morale matters. Wayne later said she was the best entertainment the Pacific ever saw, and she didn't even charge admission. But Smoky wasn't just there for laughs. She survived 150 air raids, 12 combat missions, and even got credited with saving a communications crew that was under fire. So here's what happened. Engineers needed to run a telephone wire through a 70-foot pipe under an airstrip. They absolutely couldn't dig. Japanese snipers had the place completely zeroed in. So, Wayne looks at the pipe, looks at Smoky and goes, "You up for this, girl?" He ties a string to her collar, points the other end and lets her go, and she disappears into the darkness, crawling through sand, mud, and tangled cables. Minutes later, her little head pops out of the other side, string in her teeth. The soldiers absolutely went nuts and started cheering. That string pulled the comm wire through, and the whole line was finished in minutes instead of days. One officer called it the bravest little act I ever saw. Oh, and when Smoky wasn't tunneling through death traps, she was flying in combat planes. Yep, she logged 12 missions in the belly of a transport aircraft, ears flapping, probably wondering why everyone screamed during turbulence. She survived near misses, shrapnel blast, and tropical storms, and somehow every time she came out wagging her tail, they said she had more flight hours than some recruits did. And let's be honest, if you saw that face in the middle of a bombing run, you'd keep fighting too. When the war ended, Smoky went home with Wayne. No medals awaited her. She wasn't officially enlisted, but the veterans never forgot her. In hospitals, she performed tricks for injured soldiers, making them laugh, and doctors even noticed something. The men healed faster when Smoky was around. That's why, just like Sergeant Stubby, she's remembered as one of the first therapy dogs in our history. She starred on TV and parades, even on a show called Tassels in the Air, And through it all, Wayne said she never once complained, except when he forgot her dessert. She received medals, ribbons, and awards from veteran groups across the country, but Wayne said her real reward was a nap and a pat on the head. Smoky passed away in 1957 after 14 years of outliving expectations. Wayne buried her in an ammo box, her last resting place under an old oak tree in Cleveland. Years later, a bronze statue was built in her honor, showing her standing proudly atop a soldier's helmet, the same way she did in the war, and the plaque read, "Smoky, the smallest but greatest hero of them all." So yeah, she never fired a gun, but she saved lives. She never gave orders, but she lifted armies. And she proved that even the tiniest creature can have the biggest impact. 12 missions, 1 legend. Smoky, the Yorkie who went to war.